you. And we'll have time at the end for additional public comment if anybody didn't get a chance to speak who would like to. I just want to bring it back to council and to President Eisgruber. We do appreciate you being here tonight and having this conversation. There's much to talk about. You know that the campus plan is underway. Talk about the implication to our community. There's also been in the news the settlement of the tax lawsuit, and again, the implication to the municipality and the broader community. And there's also some positive developments too. We have ongoing collaborations with the university on cycling and transit, some work with the entrepreneurship groups, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about all of those things and more. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Chris, see if you have any introductory comments to respond to what you've heard, and then we can open it up to more discussion with council.
Well, thank you, Liz. I do have some introductory comments, and then I will take an opportunity to respond to some of the heartfelt concerns that were expressed. I want to start off just by thanking you and the council once again for organizing this meeting and giving me the opportunity to appear here and talk to you. I do believe, as you said earlier, that the opportunity to have these conversations is very important for the council, for the university, and clearly for the town as well. I want to take the opportunity to thank the to congratulate the members of the council who have been re-elected to positions, and to Tim Quinn, the newly elected member of the council. Also to thank you, Patrick, for the work that you've done over the years and the relationship that we've had together. It was nice to see some elections last night that went according to form and prediction. I did find myself contemplating as I looked at the election results and thinking about some of the divisions we have in our society at large, how much we share between the university and the town, and at a time when I think civic values really matter. I thought it was worth identifying some of those places where I think there really is shared ground that matters between us, because we in the university and in the town, and I think some of the comments about this special neighborhood reflect that, have grown up together. But we share, I would say, a commitment to civil liberties. We share a commitment to decency and civil exchange. We share a commitment to the belief that people ought to be respected regardless of their background and regardless of their identity, and have status within society. We share a belief that we ought to hand down to our children a world and an environment that is as good or better than the one that we inherited from the past. And we share, very importantly, a commitment to education in higher education, and also a commitment to the education of our young people in our community. And I think that really matters, and it is a reason why, although we have to work through these tough issues, where, as you say, and as we've acknowledged in the past, there are going to be frictions between our university and our town, that we do so from a common core of values, and one where the university has to be willing to help the town, and the town has to be willing to help the university, because we did grow up together, and we're going to continue to grow together. So that matters a lot, I think, to us at a time that feels fractious in this world, and it's another reason why I appreciate the opportunity to have the conversation here. I think that provides some context for some of what we've been doing in the university in terms of strategic planning and campus planning. And we're doing so much planning right now at the university that it might be worthwhile just pausing for a moment and my articulating that distinction a little bit. We've had a strategic planning process. You can easily find at this point all the reports that have been produced there in connection with it on our webpage by putting in Princeton University strategic planning. That really goes to program. And then, as you said, we have a campus planning effort going on at the same time. That goes much more to these questions of where it is that we might build structures or improve the campus in some way in order to accommodate the purposes and program of the university. Our campus plan, importantly, and this really goes to some of the concerns, and I want to suggest something that may be reassuring. I hope it's reassuring, but our campus plan is a plan that is explicitly understood as a 10-year plan within a 30-year context. So we've asked our planners to think over a very long time period, a longer time period than most of our campus plans have covered, because we know as we make decisions about where to site things today, they're going to have implications for where things are going to be sited tomorrow. So as we look out, we're looking at both of those windows, and the 10-year plan is much more about where we might build buildings in the foreseeable future. The 30-year plan is about options about where the university might go well beyond, I would say, the program that is discussed in our current strategic plan. And I emphasize that distinction because I want to say this clearly. Right now there is no expectation that we would build on the Springdale golf course or begin developing on the Springdale golf course within that 10-year window. I don't expect us to be moving on to the Springdale golf course during my time as president, which might well extend beyond that 10-year window. I like to think of myself as a pretty young guy. It's not the way my son thinks. Don't laugh too hard at that. That's not the way my son thinks about it. But it'd be unlikely that I would serve for this entire 30-year period. But it is true when you heard, I think it was probably Cindy Rotenberg Walker talking about what the longer-term options were. She would have said to you, and I would agree with this, that there are possibilities that at some point the university would move on to the golf course, and that is a possibility that the university has to keep in mind. We manage those lands in trust to the mission described in our charter, which is a mission dedicated to teaching and research, and there are circumstances where it would make sense for us to move on to that golf course again. I think not in the course of my presidency, because in fact there are other ways, as you pointed out, that the university can develop, and one of the things we have said is that we do believe it's important to start thinking about connections across the lake that might facilitate things like graduate housing that in the past have been assumed would have to be developed on this particular side of the lake. I will agree with all of you who said it is a lovely neighborhood, a walkable neighborhood, a bikeable neighborhood, one that should stay that way. I have to say that when I was a student here at Princeton, I used to take walks over there. I thought it was a long distance from the campus heading over to the Institute in the Institute area. When my wife and I moved here, before I joined the faculty for her job, I told her that was the neighborhood that I wanted to live in. Now, we weren't able to afford it at the houses that were there on the market at the time, where you might have had a very valuable ally in this particular conversation right now. But it's a lovely neighborhood, and the area of the golf course is lovely. And frankly, I think that when the university starts thinking about that, I believe there will be ways that the interests of the university and the interests that you so well articulated this evening can simultaneously be addressed. But that's not an issue that is on our decision-making agenda now, and again, I don't expect it to be. So that is the sort of planning that is encompassed within the campus planning that we are doing, and I'm happy to talk more as we get into Q&A about pieces of that, including how we're thinking about the south and the area of the lake, which I think makes possible some of what people are asking for here tonight, and where I would hope we would be able to get the council's support in thinking about how we make those kinds of connections more possible. I want to, before we go to questions, I want to just identify a couple of other things that I think are areas of common and shared interest. One of the priorities for me that has really mattered, and again, something that I think we share with this council as I've come into my presidency, is socioeconomic diversity. Socioeconomic diversity on our campus and socioeconomic diversity in this town. I'm very proud, and I think we'll have a story up on the homepage of the university within the next week or so, talking about what we've been able to do in increasing the representation of students from the least well-off families in the country on Princeton's campus. We've basically tripled that number over a 12-year period, getting to a point now where 21%, which is pretty close to best in class for selective private colleges, 21% of our entering class is Pell eligible. That's triple the percentage what it was a little more than a decade ago. And as we've talked here in the past, we've talked a bit about what it is that the university in combination with the town can do to ensure that this remains the kind of diverse community that I think we are proud that Princeton has been over time. And one of the reasons why I think the settlement that we reached in the case that we settled is a settlement that is certainly a better way of spending the funds that might otherwise have been expended on attorneys and on litigation, is that I believe that the character of that settlement helps to ensure that a wide variety of people from a wide variety of income brackets can continue to live in this town as we also continue to extend the commitments that we've made to the town in terms of the voluntary payment that we make. So socioeconomic diversity is one item that I wanted to address. The two other things that I'll mention that are very important to us, and Liz, you already made mention of, at least one of these are entrepreneurship, where I think there are real opportunities to continue the partnership that we've begun with the town, and our commitment to sustainability, and frankly to having a walkable environment here in Princeton. I have continued to the delight of my personal physician, and actually to my own pleasure, to continue to bicycle the short distance, I should say, from Lowry House to the campus, but it both reminds me of how important it is to have bikeable passages in this town and other ways of getting around besides automobiles, and the fact that we need to do a bit more in order to make the town fully accessible that way. So I think those are a few of the items that bring us together, and I'm happy now to take questions on whatever you'd like.